Boom. Okay, guys, welcome back. Today we'll be doing what I said that we'll be starting up, which is the beat reviews. I've already gotten some stuff to review, and I'll be doing one of them in the video. So this is what we'll be taking on today. But before we get started, yeah, don't mind my ear. I'm having a bad ear day. I know that I'm having a bad ear day. So probably by the next video we'll have it done. But yeah, so before we get started, I want to show you guys two things. So one, don't forget to get the MB MegaBeats sample pack. If you haven't already, don't forget to get that, man. This is the sample pack that has all the hits, man. All the mega hits. Like most of them are in this sample pack. So if you don't got it yet, go on, get yourself this sample pack, man. Also, we got the mentorship program. So for this one, it will be like a general mentorship program. So it's like just having like a mentor does teach you anything, like everything he knows, like whatever he knows and whatever he does, he teach it to you. So we'll have this kind of mentorship going on. So as you can see, there's like music production, like Bouyon, lo-fi, R&B, pop, which are the things that I do. So you'll get that. I'll show you like using plugins and DAWs. I use like currently I use 3 DAWs. I was using 4, which was Studio One, Cubase, Ableton, and FL Studio. But I put down Studio One, but I have it. I got it back recently because I might start back using it. But I use Cubase, I use Ableton, and FL Studio. I use all 3 in my general day-to-day basis of music production. Plugin wise, I'll show you like for instance, there's a couple plugins I use for like R&B I don't use when I do lo-fi. Couple plugins I use like specifically for lo-fi, those kind of stuff. I'll show you guys all that. Mixing and basic mastering, tips and tricks. Like, so yeah, I'll be doing all of that for this music production mentorship. So this is what we'll be doing. That's why it's like it's general music production. Otherwise, like it's like two like for 4 weeks, and we got 2 days a week of 2 hours online video interaction. So we'll have like face-to-face interaction through video, like Zoom or something like that, those kind of program. And then like we'll be interacting online for the 4 weeks entirely, 24/7. So I'll send information for you. If you have things need to ask questions, whatnot, we'll be doing that. So we have a group chat where we'll be doing that, but then we'll have the face-to-face interaction twice a week for 2 hours. So based on that, we will select the days. The days that are selected is based on the days that work for you. So that's where the mentorship comes in. So we come together, we sit down, we discuss what time that you're available, what days you're available, and we set those 2 days based on your time. And then the rest is just online interaction. So whenever you're online, you're online. If you have questions, you post your questions, I get back to you, so on. If I need to make a video, then I make a video, I send it for you, that kind of stuff. But the video interaction is me and you, one-on-one. Then besides that, it's just like the general Bouyon mentorship. So instead of like general mentorship like music production on a whole, probably you just want to be specific to like Bouyon. So we also got the Bouyon mentorship like specific to Bouyon, and then we have the general mentorship. So check out for those there as well. I'll put a link to them in the description, so you go check it out and let me know. So yeah, so now on to the audio review. So for today, we'll be checking out an audio that I received from Yanga Kid. Big up to Yanga Kid one time, which is one of my viewers, one of my subscribers from the conversation that we had. Yanga Kid does a lot of like hit soca's, jab kind of soca. He is like in Germany, yeah, northern Germany. Yeah, big up to Yanga, big up to Yanga one time. I already had like a little bit of a listen to the audio. So I have a general idea of how it songs, but I didn't like did any reviews on it, so because that's the purpose of the video. So I said I'd leave the review for now. So let's get into it and let's listen to get the review. So let's listen to what Yaga got for us. Yeah. One thing to note, Yaga is completely new to the Bouyon vibes. Like he's just trying it out now. He likes the Bouyon vibes and he's trying it out now. But he did jab soca, like jab kind of soca kind of vibe. Cause that's what I got. Okay, so this was the audio that I received from Yaga for review. So let's get into the review. So first off, I have to say, very nice production, Yaga. I like the production. So that's the first thing. It's a good production, and that's the first thing I want to get out there. And now for the review, as for the review, in the Bouyon aspect, we have some things that we need to work on, which would be one, with Bouyon kind of revolves around the the percussions being one of the key elements of Bouyon. So it's like it's to the point where like the Bouyon can stand on its own without having no like synths or anything. So in case of percussions, we need more in your percussions if you going towards the Bouyon feel. So the audio sounds a lot more still in the jab aspect. So because of the production, like I don't like to limit my Bouyon. I don't like to limit my Bouyon. So I would mix my Bouyon with different elements. I would mix my Bouyon with different elements. So if you want to do like a jab Bouyon mix, go ahead. Go for it. It will happen, it will work, it can work, and it will be good. So in the case of having more of the, if you're looking for the jab Bouyon, then for this production to be a little more Bouyon oriented, I would tell you to work more on the percussion elements. Because right now you're dependent a lot on your synths. Your synths basically is what dictating your melody. Where the machine, the percussions would be our melodic aspect. So I would have like probably a piano as a backup tone, which is what you have inside there, but your lead tone Your melody is from your synth. Whereas in Bouyon, if we have that synth coming, it would be like a lead, general lead. Whereas it would be a melody, more of a lead, like a solo, like how the rock guitarists would solo. So that's what our leads would be, more or less in the case of synths. Whereas our melody is more or less determined by the percussions. So you need more in the percussion aspect to transform this more into a booyah jab jab. That would be my views on this. If you wanted to go more into the booyah aspect, then I would suggest that you change up the drums a bit. You need to change up the drums. You need to work on the drums. Um, the song selection of the drums is not the problem. Is the patterning of the drums. You need to go more in the booyah drum patterning. So you need to go a little more in that aspect. But the song selection isn't bad. Your snare song's okay. Your kick, I like the kick. It's heavy. You might need to change your, well, where your hi-hats in there. It doesn't sound like it has hi-hats. It sounds more of like the shaker doing the job of the hi-hats, which is okay for jab jab. But for booyah is something that's kind of acoustic. So the drums are one of the key elements in booyah. So the percussion, the drums, and the bass. That's like the three leading figures in booyah. We call the percussions the rhythm, which you also have there right now, the rhythm. So for anyone else that watching the video that don't know what we might say by rhythm, rhythm is just the percussion, but our own is more complex to the point that you might think of the rhythm as like an entire song or entire instrumental because of how complex it is. So you need to get the drum pattern in for booyah if you want to bring it more booyah orchestrated. So in the case of this one would be a jab jab where you're bringing in booyah into the jab jab, but you could also have the booyah where you're bringing in jab jab into the booyah. If you get what I'm saying, where it would be like jab jab would be the main focal point of it with booyah blended in, whereas you'd have a booyah as the main focal point where you're bringing in jab jab into it. Similar to the instrumental I posted, My Hero, where I brought in rock into the booyah. Whereas I'd have rock and I'd bring booyah into the rock. So that's where I'm going with it. So you would need to work on the drums, your bass. Probably might want a little bit more of a bass line. You can have your bass line as it is. It's not bad. The straight bass line is okay because it happens a lot in booyah. But in the case of in my case, I like to make my bass dance because, as I said, booyah is like acoustic. So seeing your bass is one of the things that dictates the booyah. I would use the bass to give groove, to give more feel, to change up things. So you'd have like a nice little groovy section, and then probably you can bring in your straight bass later down, like probably in your chorus area, to bring your chorus in more heavy to give it that hard feeling. Percussion wise, as I said, we need to work on the percussion, especially if you're doing like if you're making it more booyah oriented. You need a lot more in your percussions. As I said, your drum patterning, you will need to work on your drum patterning. Your synths, you might want less going on with your synths because with you having more in the case of the rhythm in the case of the rhythm aspect, the percussions, you wouldn't want your instrumental too noisy. So that's why you'd use less synths because you already have the percussions, the rhythm going that basically making the melody that you want out of everything. So you'd use less synths. Or you can utilize panning and different systems to get it all to just blend in together. Because I mean I use a lot of synths like when I do in my orchestra type of booyah, when I use in choir, strings and all that kind of stuff. But it depends on what you do. Now, in that case, I'd also use less in my percussions. So I could give more space for those synths to go through. So you have to sacrifice one for the other in most cases. to get less noise. But I would say the drums is one of the key factors along with the rhythm to get the booyah going. Because you can have a bass line anyway, basically. You can have the bass line anyway you go in. But the drums and the percussion are fundamental, just like in any other genre. So this is what I would say in regards to the review for today. But once again, thanks for coming through, Yaga. That's my review based on it. But as I said, very nice production. And for someone who just coming into the Bouyon scene through my tutorials, like it's not bad. You go in nice so far. And you already have the jab jab aspect of things. So it do not take you long to pick up much on the percussion aspects. But nice production. Nice production, I must say. What you could do if you want to like work more on like the booyah aspect in regards to this production, then you can try adding more to your percussion, your rhythm, probably change up your drums a little bit and send it to me once again. And I will probably, I might not need to make a video, but I'll give you my personal feedback basically on how I think it is compared to before and so forth. But for someone who just getting started, not bad, not bad. You might probably get it faster than a lot of guys are doing booyah already. So big up to you again one time, Yaga. Thanks for taking me up on my review.